can add this toggle button that is at the top. And if you see in the actual website, we have a cool looking transition, like it gets slowly and then moves towards the other end. So that's what we will be looking at. So let's first start with let's go to this index, and maybe let's now start to as we keep on adding components in this single page, here it would start getting big and big. So let's now start distributing our components. So let me create another folder called components, and inside this folder I can add radio button. So radio button.tsx. again, this whole thing could have been directly created by just using file system. So let's say I go here, I click on not on pages, I click on the root folder, and then I click on components slash radio button.tsx. so it will create the same way. Just wanted to show you in case if you want to use some handy shortcuts. Okay, so const radio button equal to, for now let's keep div button, and let's export this, export default radio button. Okay, and let's bring it here in the index. So we need it in this. So this is how you can, since it's a default export, you can name it anything. Like you can see that it is imported, and I think I need to add this in tsconfig path abbreviations. Okay, it is already there. You can see that components is already there, so we will use that. So add components radio button. Okay, and let me see why is it complaining. Okay, it's complaining because you can see that here I have created it as capital, but here I am using small. So let's keep all of these capital to avoid any kind of errors. Okay, now it should not complain. Yeah, that's gone. So you can see that I've imported at this name. Since it's a default export, since it's a default export, I can name it anything. I could just name it radio and that will work as well. Okay, so if I use it like this and go back, you will see that it doesn't make any difference. And let me just refresh this. It says okay, my bad. I need to put it in a functional component. Put it as a functional component. Yeah, this one. And if I refresh it now, hopefully, wait, why is it still complaining? Okay, yeah, so it is not a function. Now this syntax, I think you're familiar with it. Basically this is an arrow function syntax. What we do is, if we have any arguments, that we will pass in here, and then whatever we want to return. Since it's a single line, so I directly returned it. Otherwise I'll have to use square brackets and then write a return keyword and do it like this. Actually, let's do it like that because we will anyway need that. So let's have a return statement which will return the button, and again this is same, so it won't make any difference. Okay, now we need to format this button. So if we go here and see here, this one, you can see that it is having a, let's first make the outer enclosure. Okay, so let's name it, let's add the classes. So inside this I will add radio. Actually, let's have it in one folder because we will add the styles and everything there itself. Okay, so let's put it here, and let's remove this guy. And since we are using index, note that whenever we use file name as index.tsx, then it will automatically refer to the folder. I don't need to specify it. Like if I show you here, it will automatically be there. Like I can do it like this also, because inside radio button I want to refer index, but since name is index, that is taken as default. Okay, so I don't need to specify this, and I'll just save it and show you. So if I go back and refresh this page, you will see that this is coming as it is. However, if I remove this also and refresh the page, this doesn't make any difference because the name is index. Okay, and now here I'll add one more file, which is radio button dot, again, css file dot css. We could add it here as well in the styles folder, any way you prefer. This is how I prefer it. So yep, let's go here, let's put it this way: import classes from dot radio button dot module dot css, and let's add this classes dot outer enclosure, something like that. We can keep any name, that is totally fine. And let's quickly go and style the outer enclosure. So let's say height should be height, I don't care, let's keep width to be how many pixels, let's say 30 pixels, and aspect ratio 3. Okay, I hope you know what aspect ratio is. And let me just quickly add a border, some solid red, so that we could see what's okay. So this is our button. I think we should increase the size to 50 pixels maybe. Okay, yeah, I think this also looks a little bit smaller, but we will adjust that, that's not a problem. So you can see aspect ratio is basically, the ratio of your width to height. Okay, so I think I need to use this style, width to height. So basically what I'm saying is keep the width 50 pixels and height would be 50 by 3. So let's increase the width to 150 and see. And I think this is too big, so let's have it as 100. So this is all hit and trial, you can test it out, check it, that's all what's happening. Okay, and now I need to go to radio button, and I need to remove this button part. Okay, so I just need it as an empty enclosure, as you can see here. And now what I'll do is I'll add a button. Okay, I'll add those background and everything. So if I go here, I remove this guy, I'll add, let's say, background color to, let's say, aqua for now, or anything we can take for now just to see. And border radius, in order to make circular borders, let's say 15 pixels. And now let's see how it looks. So it looks little bit of how it is here. I think we need a little bit more of a border, so let's make it 25 pixels. So now it looks kind of similar, but I think we need to increase the width a little bit more. Yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, now we want to have another entity within this, so let's go here, not here actually, and inside this we will have a section. We can use a div also, that doesn't matter, but I'm using section. So class name is equal to classes dot toggle button. Okay, and this, since you remember in last couple of videos we discussed about relative and absolute positioning, in this one also we will actually see how absolute and relative positioning can happen. And for that purpose what we will do is we will make this section relative to this div. That means we'll have to specify the div as relative and then section class as absolute. Okay, I hope you remember it, but if you don't, let's quickly go to Jamboard. And yeah, if you see it like this, so if I put a laser pointer, so this whole container would be our outer div, and inside this will be our toggle button, which will be positioned relative to this big container. Okay, so this big container is our outer enclosure. So let me first put outer enclosure as position into relative fashion. And then what was the name of the class that we gave? Toggle button. Okay, so toggle button, we need position as absolute. Let's say top, we need 50%. This means from the top get 50% at the bottom. Okay, so let's say if I say top 50%, that means if this is my enclosure, so 50%, it would go 50% down. Okay, so that is number one. We can make it 40%, we are just testing it now, so anything is fine. And from left, let's say 10% or 5%. I think 5% should be good enough. Then again we need to specify the height. Let's keep it as 50 pixels. Aspect ratio we can keep 1 because we want it to be circle. And border radius we need to keep 50% so that it is perfectly circle. Okay, and let's have a background color of which one, let's have blue violet for now, just to see how it looks like. So okay, this is too big, so let's not make it 50 pixels, instead let's make it 20 pixels maybe. This is a little smaller, so let's keep 25 pixels. I think that would be perfect. Okay, and we need to make this 40% little bit upside. So yeah, I think this is almost in alignment. I think we need to align left side a little bit more, so let's keep it 10%. So now this is exactly, not exactly, but yeah, it's looking along the same line. So I hope you got the concept. See, exact I mean exact positioning and everything that we can do by practice and keeping things trying differently randomly and figuring out in that way. That is totally fine, that is on us, but you should know how we are doing everything. Okay, so if you see again to this switch and then come back to this one, you will realize that okay, this is a little bit wider. Let's say if I wanted to make it less wider, then what I could have done is I could have changed the aspect ratio maybe and width to 100 pixels. So now you can see that it is less wider and so on. So we can do all these changes, that's not the problem, but we should know the concept. So the concept is that we are having this outer enclosure and we are positioning our circular, wait, this circular radio button relative to this. And since we are putting relative, so we have added relative positioning to this one and absolute positioning to our circular button. How did we make it circular? By making border radius as 50% and keeping aspect ratio as 1:1 and keeping a fixed height. And then we will be switching this position to give that transition effect that we will see in the next video. Okay, so I hope until this part everything is clear, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.